So back when I was a kid, I've had this firm passion to start reading everywhere. I read in any space that I could find, whether that's the kitchen, the living room, outside, or even on top of my dad's car. I wanted to read books because I was so enveloped with it. I used to go to bed reading books, I used to wake up reading books, and I spend this time, as nerdy as it sounds, just contemplating on the words I am reading. Even as a kid, I was taught that books had a special importance that to many of us, we tend to disregard, but for me, I loved the process of reading. I genuinely think it's one of the most invigorating motions that you could possibly do, next to exercise and even sleeping. I love these habits of just going outside and playing sports, but there's something unique of also just sitting out in the sun, bathing yourself in the book you are reading, and taking time to read some of your favorite fictional or nonfiction pieces. And this is what fueled me, this drive to start reading as much books as possible. I was a naive 10-year-old at this time, but I've always had this dream of just reading the biggest physical book I can find, from the spine all the way down to the details. As I get older, that's less and less of a dream, but I've still had this passion to continue reading. As time went on, things went harder, and I grew up along with my books. And as you can see here, some of these books I've spent the past few months reading tend to have struggles that younger me never faced. For someone who is energetic and wanted the results as fast as possible, the real world doesn't work like that. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about my experience with books and what I've learned to be a better reader. There are times in my life in which I simply stopped reading, and it physically got so hard that I completely gave up on myself. And I want to educate what I can to make you not only a better reader, but also a more concise and considerate person in the long run. If you don't know me, I am Arnel Arcega. I'm one of the healthiest authors and writers you will ever encounter on this platform. As someone passionate in the world of reading and writing, I'm also someone who continually improves on himself by working out at the gym more, getting better sleep, and improving the way I live. If you want that kind of help to tell your own personal stories, whether it's fictional or non-fictional, then check out my Instagram down in the link of the description. No matter what, I am here to physically change people's lives for the better, and I will suggest, if you want to take this step now, to follow said Instagram accounts. For now, let's get into what I've learned about reading, how it fueled my success as an author, and why I value it so much in a world that's constantly drifting. Reading books is hard, as many of us prove. Some of these books here, like Jurassic Park or even The Book Thief, are some of the craziest novels I've ever read, but they came at the cost of my time. My time, my valuable essence of the world, has came at the cost because I wanted to read more. And this isn't a bad thing. When it comes to reading, I found it rather impressive that I can read so many books at once. A while back, I had many competitions with friends and family to see who can read the book the fastest or get an entire series done. I tend to always win those, but it felt proud. It made my nerdy attribute of reading books less and less of a quirk and more of a talent that I can hone my skills on. And as someone who willingly writes stories and tells informational text, as you can see through my books in the top link of the description, I've learned that over the course of this journey, there tends to be a cost to reading. Books will inevitably have a cost of both our time, but also our patience. And as such, it becomes physically impossible to read every once in a while. We will have those periods in which we don't read. And it's a hard struggle for many of us and most of society due to the fact that education, not the school kind, but the physical education you read in these journals and notebooks, will come at the cost of your own time and your own patience. Likewise, I've had many issues with both me along with my friends wanting to read more books, but we never figured out how to. A recent case came at an online friend I met, and she talked to me on how much books matter. She absolutely loved reading, and as someone who wants to be an aspiring author similar to me, she followed in my footsteps of what I can and do, what she can do as a reader. I made it clear to her that to be a better reader, you need to be a lot more patient with yourself. You need to be understanding of what you are reading and use this time wisely to figure out what purpose you're going to get across. With those 3 points in mind, we're going to cover each and every one of them in specific detail, driving the point home that reading is not impossible. It has a purpose, and all you need is a specific time and overload that will allow you to be a better reader. The first point I want to talk about: by making the book not impossible, your book will be easy and simple to read. One of the most notable things about this conversation between me and this girl was the fact that she loved reading but didn't know how to get started. It's easy to brush aside the point that you can get started now, instantly read, but there's a convoluted, more complex reason to that. Books as a whole are meant to challenge us. From one page all the way to the end, it's pure dedication. Hours on hours spent on top of one another, making our minds think sharper of the world around us. And by making sure that we stay on this path of reading and writing, we consistently get better. But like life, that never happens. We get older, but we will have our trip-ups. As such, books are easy to pass off because they are small and they can be put to the side on a shelf or in a corner. What I need you to do now, as someone who came to this video whether wanting to read more books or just get onto the path of reading, is to take your time wisely. Take your time to make sure you read the book fully, and this means you need to read it without impossibility. To make the book not impossible, you need to be able to get the book in your hand. Whether physically in your hand or on a digital copy on a laptop, we want it to be present. By making it present, it becomes clear to us that the book is real. This item I am holding here is a real device and a real piece of literature that I can read because it's my notes. Make that the easy part. Make it so that you can show up on time to read the book in your hand. I've always loved the process of choosing what book to read. And with that in mind, I want to be able to read more books, and that comes with us choosing less and less hard options and more of the easy routes. The easy route is to have it be in front of us. By having it in front of us, we become more knowledgeable of the book. We physically see it in our hand or with our eyes. By having it physically in our hands, we can see the type of book we're going to read. We're going to see the book that we truly picked as our own. Similar to YouTube videos, be grateful for the book you have chosen. This will challenge the days, the weeks, and even the months ahead of you. And by choosing this path, you make it less and less impossible simply by having it in front of you. That leads into my second point. Choose a purpose. What kind of book are you going to read today? What type of book you are going to read will determine how well you actively finish it. You can juggle multiple books at a time. I've tried in the past month of September to read as many books as I humanly can. And that came at the cost that I only finished 2 full books. But in the meantime, I have started 3 other ones, and I've been able to work my way and scatter my way thoroughly with it. Every book has a purpose. Books like The Book Thief is used to educate on World War II experiences in a fictional landscape. And other books such as Writing Tools or How Fiction Works are some of my favorite examples that taught me to be a stronger author. You can tell the purpose of a book simply by the title alone. Sometimes it may lead you on, such as a poetry book, but it will envelop you and make you stronger purely by what the book is offering. The purpose is right dead center in many books, and as such, you should choose your books carefully, even if it is said to not judge it by its cover. By judging it literally by its cover, you understand the purpose, and even if it's more than just the cover, understand what type of literature and knowledge you're going to get out of this story, whether it's fictional or non-fictional. Choosing that purpose for why you read this book, specifically on a problem you are currently having, will reduce the amount of time you're wasting and change your life and shape the trajectory to a much higher lens. The third thing I want you to think about, especially when you hate reading, is to understand the restrictions and time that comes with it. By restricting yourself of certain due dates, we make it so that books aren't just stagnant. It's easy to have it in front of our eyes and choose the purpose we are reading it for. But if we don't finish it, then we're not reading the book. It's easy to say, oh, look, I show up for one page, then another page, and another. And that's the steps that lead you to finishing the book. But if you don't finish the book, then I wouldn't call you a full-on reader. To be a reader, I highly suggest you to at least finish one full book. And this is easy whether it's physically on hand or listenable through ears. Yes, audiobooks do count, and it's all about how you manage the time. Whether through audiobooks, physical books, or digital books, by restricting yourself of the goals you're willing to take to finish that book, the time you spend will be greater than the sum that you initially received it for. Okay, thank you. By using this time, I'm telling you, we will get a greater sense of hope within our reading. And by using less and less time that's wasted, i.e. restricting the book with a specific time and purpose, we have an easier time of finishing the book, whether we like it or not. And by finishing a book, even if it's from the fast or slow lane, it will allow us to take in the information fully. Whether that makes us get to another book faster or just finishing the book in our hand currently, that is up to you. We all have different reading styles, and coming as someone who hates reading, it's understood that we need to be better at our craft. It's honestly a hard struggle by itself to hate reading because there's hardly any downsides with books. Books itself are fantastic on their own, and they have plenty of different beneficial values that to the average person we tend to ignore because it's hard. Books are hard, and that's the only reason you hate it. You hate books because they are hard. They are hard to sit through, similar to a video like this with limited cuts, limited edits, and just a much more progressive lens, like I'm talking to you. And even though I'm just addressing a camera right in front of me, by knowing that there is someone willing to listen to this advice and take the information that you have to be a better reader, you will tell better stories, have more meaningful connections with others in the world, and finally, improve the lifestyle that you're progressively evolving into. The final point I want to talk about, especially for someone who hates reading, is to consider overloading the book. Let's go back to what I meant when I said that it's good to show up. Having the book physically in your hand is a great start. But by showing up each and every day, you are actively growing it in a manner that's similar to the gym. Progressive overload is a term that many gym users go, similar to me. We keep on adding more weights to the bench and be able to push ourselves even higher than the limit was supposed to. And that's the same case for books. It tests our patience. And the reason why many of us hate it is because it's hard enough to read. But by sitting your ass down and reading a book from start to finish, we will have a full and delicate story on our hands. Some of my favorite books and stories of all time did not come at the fact that I researched them, but rather I read it through. I escaped this world for a moment. And using that in mind, I was able to evolve myself and be a stronger person by learning these habits, learning human nature as a whole. And using that to my advantage, I continue to read more and more books to the point where reading a book a week has become a norm. Now this video is similar to that previous example of how to read a book a week. But the difference between someone who hates reading, similar to yourself, versus someone who is actively reading is that you don't have a reason to read. You don't get the benefits that come with it. But I'm telling you, when you read books, you will be a lot more lighter. Your life will be full of less chaos. When you separate yourself from your so-called friends every once in a while to pick up a book, it will allow you to shine. It will allow you to think more critically of how you go about the world. And by smiling more, being grateful of the space around you, your life will have meaning that it has never seen before. There was a period in my life where I absolutely despised books. And there are moments I still do. It's not hard to understand why. It's all because books are challenging, and as our monkey brains keep evolving, we have to keep on facing hurdles. And if you don't have these hurdles, a reason, a purpose, then what are you doing on this planet? Take in time to read books. This is my purpose I'm giving to you. Evolve a specific area of life and continue to grow it each and every day by progressively overloading and using what you can to make it physically impossible to not read the book. Your life will change for the better. It changed my life for the better, and I'm proud to say it will change yours too. If you want just a book to start reading, whether you don't have one in hand or having money problems, as a comment once told me, then check out my books in the top link of the description. For now, they are free, but eventually I will charge it. It is an excellent experience, however, talking about the livelihood of a high schooler as well as someone in the working force. If you want to read each of those, they are titled A Small World Smiles and Artist v Critic. If you want to check me out more, then check out my socials down in the link of the description, as well as my own personal advice to you through my Instagram. Continue reading, and until next time, keep on reading, keep on writing, and take care.